mics are hot.
Good evening,
Well, we're not there yet.
Michael
Fly in
Putin.
the wall. Welcome, everybody, to the Barre Beat podcast, live from Main Street, Barre, Vermont. In the room with us, we have Raylene and Alice Farrell. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
And how are you doing this evening?
I'm fine.
You're doing fine?
Yeah, great.
Great. Are we all excited and super stoked about everything?
I don't know about that, but okay.
Well, there's something to be glad about. It isn't raining.
That is true. It's
That
not
I
raining.
agree,
We
100%.
do have rain, coming in the future, though, right? Don't we have it on Friday and Thursday?
Saturday. Yeah.
Yes, but that gives us enough time to
Not
get
Saturday.
the tomatoes all settled in and get the radish seeds and all those things that we've been
That's right.
thinking about.
That's right.
I don't want it to be raining on Saturday because I want to go four-wheeling.
It's going to be super hot all week long. And then it's going to rain, so that means that the corn is going to go crazy, but so is your lawn.
Yes.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That means I have to mow it.
Yes, it does.
Which means I got to pony up $50 because I'll just have Quan do it.
Well, hey, at least you have somebody to do that for you.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, I've heard good things. He does a great job.
Yeah, I made him work hard. I'm not gonna lie.
He earned his $50.
He got $80 from me.
Oh, well,
'Cause,
it was a lot of work.
it was like 2-3 hours. I gave him $80.
I
He's
have
good
a
kid.
Quan story.
You do?
Yes. A year ago, well, last fall anyway, I rescued some cobblestones from someone who had them in their yard here in Barre City for probably 50 years. And they were the cobblestones from the original Main Street when they dug up Main Street in what, like the late 1960s, early 1970s? And I brought them home to my house on Cobble Hill, from which they came originally. And they sat there all winter because I couldn't really manipulate them to do what I wanted to do with them. So Quan came over last weekend, and he and I put together a new stoop for my front stoop on the log cabin. And so with the cobbles from Main Street here in Barre, and some granite planking that I purchased from someone who had ripped it up from somewhere else, we made this beautiful new cobble and granite stoop for my front door. And I modeled it after an Austrian Alpenhaus. And we looked at the picture, and we shuffled the cobbles around, and we laid down the granite, and we backfilled, and I have a beautiful new stoop made with antique cobbles from Barre City.
Well, now I want to see it.
Oh, yes.
We need
I'll
some
come
pictures.
and sit on your stoop.
Yes.
You're gonna have to. So Alice, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to send Raylene some pictures,
Oh, I will.
and then she'll post it on all 3 pages.
Yeah.
The Barre City Community Fan
Yes.
page, posted on the Barre Beat page, and the Aired Out page.
And I also had enough cobbles. I did do that last fall. I created a tulip garden and put the cobblestones around the tulip garden. So I have a tulip garden in the front, a cobblestone stoop. I feel like I'm touching history.
That's awesome. I think that's pretty cool.
So it has been several weeks since we've been on air.
We were a little
because
busy.
We were a little busy. We all were a little busy. There was some board meetings. So we haven't talked about the election results. And
right. There
we
was
should
campaigning.
There's been a lot that's been going on, but let's quickly touch on the election results. As many know, I lost. I am no longer a city councilor, so
The
all
city
emails
lost.
need to be directed to the manager.
Yeah.
Complaints, emails, telephone calls, all to the city manager, no longer to me.
Right. That's right. Can we tell that people for me too?
Yes.
Well, except for a couple of you. A couple of you, you can send them to me all you want.
Yeah.
You know who you are. But holy shit. Over the weekend with the water main break.
Yeah.
So, like, I even live in the town. I'm just going to say right now that, like, I don't even live here. The number of messages I got, and like I said, a couple of them I'm good with because I know who they are and what they're discussing is a true discussion. But to just literally get bombarded with people pissed off is like, whoa, the amount of messages. Who do I call? What do I do? What is this? What is that? I don't know.
Talk to Michael. He'll tell you no. I'll say this, and I joke about, people, don't call me now, but that's not true.
Right. We know it's not true.
Anybody can call me, email me. I'll always do my best, whether or not I'm an elected official or not. I will always do my best for my community. So,
and same.
yeah.
I mean, I love them all, but
no, I know
there's just some that you just can't. Like, I don't know. I literally don't know, and then I feel bad. I'm like, I don't know why, and I don't even know why they asked me. I truthfully.
Well, because you're approachable.
In some of them, like I said, we're just having a discussion. They message me because we can have a back and forth discussion and maybe settle some things out, and they know that I'm certainly not going to beat around the bush.
Yeah.
That I will tell them exactly what I think.
Well, I think probably one of the things that not everybody has the ability of being is approachable, and I think people consider you approachable, which is a testimony to you. So,
right, which is humbling, and I do. Like I said, I appreciate it, and but I shouldn't say that I don't want. I just feel bad because I really don't. I don't know what to do. Like, there's nothing I can do.
Well, I got a message at, I think it was about 10 o'clock, and I'm like, I wish I could check my email and see if there was something. Unfortunately, there was nothing there, so I ended up calling dispatch, and dispatch told me, and then I posted on the Barre City community fan page, saying that there was a water main leak, and that just watched the actual Barre City page, which at some point, just as a side note for those that are watching, going to be doing a rebrand of the Barre City community fan page. Just throwing it out there.
Yes,
that's coming down the road. So that being said, I posted, and then I deferred over to the city, which they posted, I think, this morning? Was it this morning?
Or I think they posted it sometime yesterday that there was no
issues.
Boil water notice or anything.
That's right.
But it was rather late.
Yeah.
Notice after a lot of people had called and complained and were really upset of not knowing what to do. And
it's hard. It's hard to get those notifications out there. I know that the city was talking about doing a text message service, which I don't know where that is in the process. Of course I don't, but that being said, that would be certainly something that would be very nice. I do want to talk about the water discoloration, because a lot of people get concerned about the discoloration of water, and yes, it's very concerning when you see it, and I would never recommend that you drink it, just because it's got sediments in it. But the important thing is that the brown water that you see, it's not
contaminated.
Stuff. Correct. It's not necessary. It's minerals. And when the pipes move water really quickly, or they get shuffled a bit, it loosens the sediment around the pipes that build up over the years and days, or whatever time frame that it is. And all that water is just sediments. I think magnesium. I don't know. You can email the city about what exactly it is, but it's not unsafe.
Well, actually, there was a post not too long ago that explained that when they were having the issue of the discolored water, but it was testing okay. But
Correct.
people were really concerned about the color, and so there was something put out not that long ago that explained all of that and what the different minerals did in
Yep.
whatever. So it has been out there before. Maybe
Yeah.
they just need to put it out there again. But at any rate, I always say, if it bothers you, if you're concerned about it, then boil it. Just,
Yeah.
At least
Absolutely.
boil it. Flush your pipes out a couple of times a day. Let the water run for a little bit. Flush the toilet through a few times. And when you feel comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I know that for me personally, this is just me personally. When I see water come through as brown, I actually don't drink it until I get notification from the city that says that it's drinkable. Yeah. So, for example, to a Saturday night is when we had the problem. I didn't drink the water until I saw the post saying that the water was safe, because you just never know, and I don't want to take that chance.
Right.
Although, I'm sure I was overreacting, but
I overreact too. I've watched Aaron Brockovich.
oh man.
Well, I'm not gonna. I mean, hey,
Anyway, moving on to the election results. So, like I said, I lost. Sonia Spalding won. They won, I think it was like 10, 15 votes. I lost, or Amanda Gustin won by 6 votes. Michael,
right?
5.
5.
No, it was 6.
It was 6
I'm pretty sure it was
because
6.
it was
yeah.
7, and then we found one.
Correct.
So 6. Yep.
And let's chat about that, right? Like, so when and you can attest to it, right after the election,
You
what did I
said
say?
I'm not. You said absolutely not. I'm not doing a recount. I said I wouldn't do a recount, and I'm not doing a recount.
Correct. And the only reason why I did it was because I was repeatedly asked to do it. And I'm actually really glad that I did, because now it's just another proof that, hey, our tabulators, they work. And the narrative that we don't have a system that's safe is not correct. You had the tabulators do it, and you had individuals do it. The one for Ward 1 was exactly the way that the tabulators did it.
Yes.
The only reason why Ward 2 was different was because there was an overvote, which you can see that in the results. It said in Ward 2, there was 2 overvotes. Out of the 2 overvotes, only 1 was a change. And it just goes to show you just how secure our elections are in at least in Barre City. I'm not going to speak about anywhere else, but I can tell you in Barre City,
Right.
I know that our elections are good.
Yeah.
Even though I lost. But yeah. And of course we had Cheryl Mativier. She got 308 votes. So she's our new town clerk, city clerk. And we got Michael Deering against Jeremy Spiro, and Michael just completely landslided
Yeah.
in Ward 3. So congratulations, Michael.
Yes. A lot of tough work out of
Yeah,
him.
he did.
I mean,
he went door knocking.
Holy cow! That when you say that you see him everywhere, you're not lying, because he is everywhere.
Yeah, his numbers were very similar to Tom's numbers in Ward 3, and of course, moving into the election for Tom, Tom Lozon is currently the mayor. If you don't know that, I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
But I'm like super excited about that. I'm
Me too.
really jealous of the counselors that are on there right now. And we've talked. Tom has joked about the bromance that we have. The fact is that when you experience success for 8 years, it's hard not to have that bromance.
Right. Exactly. You just
Yeah. And so he's the mayor, and he was 902 to 645. So it was definitely a mandate. People saying, hey, we need to have some change. And quite frankly, we
Leadership.
needed
Right.
some change in Barre City.
Yeah,
You know,
and
the diapers
leadership.
were dirty. Thankfully, they're gone. Although somebody could probably say that about me, that I'm part of the dirty diapers, which is fine. I don't care because I'm just glad that Tom got in.
And I think it's not just Barre City. The surrounding areas are all very glad to see Tom Luzon back as mayor as well.
absolutely.
I mean, because
Absolutely.
it means a lot for
It does.
people who live in the surrounding areas and key their lives off of Barre City.
Yeah.
They shop here, they dine here, whatever. Their friends and families are here in the city. I think it's and drive through to go to work. I think it's very important that Barre City be a pinpoint area of success, and getting Tom elected mayor really represents that success.
Absolutely.
No, I agree. And one of the things that is really encouraging for me is that it gives me some real hope for our north end. And, you know, the constant, what feels like nobody's doing anything down there is now not going to be the case.
Right, it'll come
because
to an
Tom
end.
is not going to just allow
Right.
the north end to live in squalor.
Yep.
Or not that people are living in, I shouldn't say that. Let me rephrase that.
No, but
Let
they're
the-
living a lot rougher than they were
Right.
pre-flood,
Right.
and they shouldn't need to be a
Right.
year later. And he'll
Right.
make sure that that doesn't continue for yet another year.
Yeah, he's not going to allow people to live in, you know, he's not going to allow the north end to. There's another word, not squalor, but it's not going to let.
Degenerate?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
That'll work and degenerate into. You
I'll
know,
be your
it's
wordsmith.
not. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's. I'm super stoked about that.
Yeah.
The city obviously passed the city budget. That passed 882 to 656. Those streets, obviously, that just like landslided again. You know, you put streets on the ballot, everybody votes for it. Then we have the Barre City Charter for 16 and 17-year-olds.
Failed.
Not
It was the only
going-
thing that failed. It was
Yes,
the
that was-
only thing that failed in the city was that. That was a very clear no.
No. How about we not do 16 and 17-year-olds voting? Yeah, sounds like a great idea of not doing that.
Yeah.
That was definitely a pretty stark no.
And I can only guess who mostly voted against it. The parents of 16 and 17-year-olds.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. We did vote to move town meeting day to May, so that's going to have to go to legislature next year for them to approve that. And that'll make it so municipal elections are always in May. And one thing that, you know, was constantly harped about by individuals was, you know, it's going to be a low turnout. It was a huge turnout.
There was a
larger.
great turnout. It was a great turnout
Yeah,
at
I
the
mean-
polls. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was, oh yeah, that's right. We had hot
Yeah,
dogs and
and
everything else.
we did.
Which we need to do every
time.
election.
You know, what I heard from a lot of people about doing that is that it felt like the first true, real town meeting that they had had in a very, very, very long time. That they were talking to neighbors that they hadn't necessarily met before. They were talking to neighbors that they hadn't talked to in months. They were stopping and communicating and chatting with you all, and that it was really nice and to have that there and to do that. So
Okay.
I'm super
We'll do it
stoked
again.
that
We should do it when we have the BUSD revote.
yes, we should. We should do something. It really it brought a lot of people just standing around and having good conversations, both before and after voting, and no matter what side of the aisle you were on, and that was awesome.
Yeah. No,
And I
it
think what
was.
makes a big difference in that too is the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Because
True.
think about, I can speak to the first week in March for the last 2 years.
That was terrible.
Last year, it was snowing like crazy and freezing, and the wind was blowing. This year, it was pouring rain. So people were literally running from their cars to the voting place and then running back to their cars.
And
so
it was windy and cold.
And so there was no time for anyone to visit with anyone either before or after they voted. And here in May, it was a beautiful day. People were out, and it was a good thing.
Yeah.
So I think that the May vote makes a whole lot more sense.
Agreed.
Yep. That's great. And so we will definitely see you guys on the 6th or 18th for maybe we'll have hot dogs then too. But,
Be wonderful. The
we'll have to get
18th
it-
of June?
18th of June.
Oh, we
That's
better
when,
get our buns in
BUS
gear.
I know. We got it. Get our buns in gear.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're bringing a little tabletop grill this time, though. No disasters.
No. Yeah. Do you want to say what happened?
Yes, in transport on the way home, somebody loaded the grill up, did not strap it down, and I thought they realized that they went uphill to get there. They were going to go downhill and around a sharp corner to leave, but apparently not. And the grill got thrown out of the truck and smashed all to heck. So, things happen, and it happened. And next time we will do what I said we were going to do the first time. We're going to have one of those little tabletop grills. No, little green propane cylinder. Perfect. Pick it up, carry it wherever you want to go. You can cook
Like a
20 hot
suitcase.
dogs at a time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could do that. Or I saw that post that JD did, which had a free trailer. I don't know if you saw that. We could get the trailer.
Have you seen the trailer?
Trailer? Oh, please.
Do you know anything about this trailer, Michael?
No, I don't.
All right. Do you know anything about JD?
Good point.
All right.
Very good point. Never mind. It was a good idea to get a trailer and install a grill on it so that we can do road,
You could probably fix it up to do that, but it's pretty rusty and it needs some help.
need some love.
Yeah, it does.
But think about it. We could put a grill on the back of it, right?
You
And
could
we
buy one for your four-wheeler, and you could use it for four-wheeling sometimes or a grill other times.
Well, no, I would want to have a trailer specifically designed for the grill so
to be
that
permanently mounted to it.
yes, so that I can go neighborhood to neighborhood, in the next couple months and spend some time,
Just
doing
giving away hot dogs.
giving away hot dogs.
Why not?
Sounds like a great idea.
Just as long as you're not down by the river in a van.
You lost more than your council seat.
Oh, I know,
Telling
right?
you.
And of course, we go down to the school budget. It did fail in Barrytown. It did pass in Barry City. It's just a real good example of why we need to commingle the votes so that when there's a failure, we can say, hey, the budget failed, period. Not, well, this community, because it kind of does set it up where it's community against community. And I'm sure I'll get some hate on that, but I think it's probably a good idea in my opinion, which that's all it is.
That we're voting all together, you mean?
Yeah,
For
they
the school
commingle.
budget?
So they commingle the career center, and I'll go over to Alice for that. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So they commingle the career center, and it's probably not a bad idea to do the same thing. And I won't ask you, Alice, about it. So.
But it's one district. So it's a
Yeah.
district vote. It really isn't one community and another community. It's a district-wide vote. So
Right.
put them all in one pot and count them.
Exactly. And I think that would certainly make the conversations at the school board level a little bit easier because then we wouldn't have my community voted for it. Well, my community voted against it. And I think that doesn't help us be one BUUSD. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, so we're going to be doing a revote anyway on June 18th. So mark your calendars, folks that are listening. June 18th, all the same timing, all the same locations. There was some concern about the 11th because it would have made it so that Barre City turnout would have been lower because it would have had to been at like the old Labor Hall, and that's not a good thing. We want to keep it at the Barre Auditorium.
Right. Isn't the 19th a holiday?
It is Juneteenth.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I know a lot of things will be closed that day as well. So
Yep. I know National Life gets the day off on the June 19th. I'm actually going to take that whole week off.
oh, good, good,
So, yeah.
good.
So that's the election. I got through it without, being too upset. Congratulations to all the people that won. You deserve it. And I know what.
I'm gonna say it. I don't care. You know how I am, but I mean, let's be honest about it. You are upset about it, though. I mean, you're hurt.
Yeah, but you know what though? Here's the thing. Let's be honest. If I had just walked the ward,
Well,
but in my defense,
then maybe.
I get squishy jelly issues in my knees. In my defense,
I know, but I'm just saying that you have to be honest. We have to be honest with the fact that, you love the city, and as you said at the beginning, that even if you're not there, you're going to do whatever, whenever you can. But I think for many of the voters, it's a big loss not to have you there, and so I think they feel that loss as much as you do, and I just hope that you know that.
I appreciate that.
And we just hope that everyone who did get elected will do the same fine job that you did. That's what we can wish for.
Yep.
And Judy's comment,
know,
this
I
came
was
from a
just gonna
lot
say
of
that.
people. So this comment has come from a lot of people. Not a fan of clumping all the special groups asking for money. Would have rather to have them on an individual case or an individual basis. And we heard that a lot at the polls as well. A lot of people were saying, not okay with that because I would have voted no for this and I would have voted yes for that, but I voted no or yes for all of them because. And we heard that a lot.
So one of the things that with the change to the May elections is that we probably will, the city could do that a lot more efficiently because there's more room on the ballot. And that was one of the reasons why folks didn't want to do that. We were putting it in there to make it so that it would take up less space on the ballot. But now we just got to get folks or city councilors to put that forward to separate them out. So that's something that if you want your city councilor to do that, send them an email. Sam Stockwell is still a city councilor. Michael Deering is also the city councilor for Ward 3. For Ward 2, you've got Amanda Gustin and Teddy Wazazak. You've got for Ward 1, Mel Shambell and Sonia Spalding. And then, of course, Tom Lozon as mayor.
Right. Right. You love saying that.
I do. I love saying Tom Lozon as mayor.
Me too.
I do love it.
Me too.
Did you see the picture of him at the Memorial Day presentation? Well,
I've
you
seen
were there.
a few
You were
pictures,
there.
but I was there. I was live.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, the picture's beautiful.
Yeah.
Shannon Alexander took a splendid picture.
Yes,
I
she
haven't
did.
seen a good picture. Not that didn't come out right. I haven't seen a good picture. It was a good picture of and yeah, it was a wonderful picture of Tom and Shannon. You did an amazing
Standing at
job.
the helm,
Yep.
and he gave a great speech.
He sure
It
did.
was
He sure did.
Yeah.
I
and I have it. It's on tape. You can watch it on Air It Out or over and over and over and over again if you want.
And you can watch it on the Barre City Community fan page as well, because I was recording it too.
So see,
We work well
were
together.
you on the other side of the park?
I was. I saw you.
I,
Oh. Anyway, so there's that. Let's see. Do we want to talk about the budget revote?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
I think we all three probably stand in different spaces
Oh, absolutely.
with it all three of us. So I think it's a great conversation to have.
All right. So, I mean, I don't have a problem kicking it off. The conversation was, the budget committee met. Granted, not everybody on the budget committee could go. And we could certainly argue over whether or not there should have been changes, but it was a way to accommodate as many people as possible. And sometimes when you try to
and
accommodate,
didn't it go the same way last year? Not everybody was able to attend last year either.
oh, I don't know. It wasn't. So they went line by line, and I don't think they went line by line last year. I'm not really
no, I
good
don't believe
with.
they did.
No.
Yeah, no.
No.
Not line by line.
Yeah,
No.
and Victoria Pompey was there. 1998 grad. Woo, woo.
Oh,
We're
jeez.
like totally into politics. The 1998 Spalding High School grads. You got me, Gina Galfetti, Victoria Pompey. You've got Emma Mulvaney Stanek.
Yep.
So got them all.
You're all in there.
1998 was busy.
I guess so.
Only 4 graduates?
We were actually the largest class to graduate
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Which probably the next class was the largest one as well. But yeah, we.
But to have folks make such a contribution locally and statewide, that's really very good.
It is. It is.
Agreed.
And it's probably testament that the rest of the folks who graduated that year too are doing good stuff as well.
Yeah.
I would agree. There's some that aren't, but yeah.
Well, and that happens in any case. But maybe we should rethink things and go back to how things were in 1998 a little bit. Like
not
when they
opposed to
had we had things in school that we could have then, like even certain graduation songs and
Oh, are you talking
and
about Lead Kindly
the
Light?
grading service, the grading system, and you were allowed to say no, and you were allowed to tell somebody that they failed and you need to try harder. All of those things were acceptable in
And penmanship.
1998. And penmanship, yes. And yes, we actually learned so much Vermont history and civics, and I mean, yeah, the list is endless.
So we've got 15 people watching right now, and I'm willing to bet you they don't know about the school song that, because traditionally speaking, we would all have to learn "Lead Kindly Light." It was the song that
For graduation.
we had to sing during graduation. Lead kindly light amid the circling
Yeah.
doom. Lead thou me on, though the night is dark and I am far from home. Anyway, so they removed that during COVID. They completely killed it without anybody knowing about it. And I was very disappointed to
That
hear
was
that.
one of the many things that were killed.
Yeah, well, let's under the darkness of night, let's kill a traditional song. I'm half tempted to create an action memo to force that song back on.
Well, I'm just sitting here hearing this for the first time and wondering, as chair of the curriculum committee, why isn't the curriculum committee taking this up?
The song?
Well, isn't that part of the curriculum, that you learn a song that has some meaning to folks and community? I would
Go for
question
it.
that.
Go for it.
I'm gonna add that to our quest as a curriculum committee.
Just some of the things that we have gotten away from, we really shouldn't have.
Right.
And it's well, it's gross, I think. It's really is. We've more and more we lose things that were of significant value and would continue to be if they were allowed.
Yeah, just look at this. Here it is. It's more than 25 years later, and you still know the song.
Yeah.
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 I
also know
still know and I'm not doing it.
No.
But some Edgar Allan Poe poem that we did when we graduated, like a bunch of us did. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy to me.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Nevermore.
Edgar Allan Poe was kind of a dark individual.
Well, he was, but this wasn't. It wasn't that bad, really.
It wasn't that
bad. And you did whatever Mrs. Sinclair said to do. Damn it.
You're right. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. In early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. So leaf subsides a leaf. Eat and sink to grief. Dawn goes down today. Nothing gold may stay.
Yeah.
Quote the raven, nevermore.
I mean,
And for those that don't know, that was a poem that we were forced to memorize in Mrs. Sinclair's class.
Yes, and man,
And
you did what she
you
said.
did it.
You did not mess around
No,
with her.
no.
Yes.
no.
She was one of
She
the
is, by
best
the way.
pig-
She's not passed away.
No,
She's
she
still
was. She
alive.
was just one of the
She's-
best teachers
yeah.
there was, and we had, and they still do, I believe, have some very incredible teachers.
Yeah.
But the current climate of not only the students but the parents and the community makes it really tough for them to do their job. I don't know how they do it. I couldn't do it. I could not do what they do
think
on
a
a daily
lot of-
basis.
One of the biggest problems that we have is not only
Structure, there's
state,
none.
but also federal involvement in our school systems.
Mm-hmm.
We know how to we know how to handle our children as or not individuals, but as community. It's our children. We should, as a community, be together in educating our children.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy does write in 1973 was the largest class that Spalding High School had, which was 400 students.
Wow.
So, that's
Holy
quite a bit.
cow.
I-
Wow.
I could have sworn they said that our class was larger, the largest.
Well, maybe
class.
just for your
For the
10-year
decade.
block or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
for your decade.
Maybe. I don't know. I do see that Sarah is watching. I'll just give another plug that 1998 is better. We said it earlier.
Oh, because
Go
Sarah
back and watch it.
graduated in 98 too?
No, she did not.
Oh.
She graduated in like 2000.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
3 or something
Like,
like
because
that.
she's way younger
She
than
probably
me.
jumped off the minute I
She's
just
like
said that.
25 years younger than me.
So anyway, we got the revote on the 18th. It equates to 9.21 or 9.21% increase in overall spending, but the actual ed spending is around a little over 5%, which for those that don't know what that means, that's the amount that you're actually taxed on. So the city also has a budget, and so does the town. And it's basically, that's what is being taxed on. So the town's budget, there is no state, weird formula. So it's, whatever, but it's it's a little over 5%, which is about where the city was for the municipal side. So, it was a 5-4 split. I was hoping that wouldn't happen again, but after there was no changes being made, so might as well just approve it. So hopefully, folks get to the polls and vote on the budget. And the one thing that we have to worry about is we're really close to 87%. July 1st. That's the drop dead date, and there were no other suggestions to lower the budget. So all I have to say is 87% is
But
not
it's
really
87%, Michael, until a new budget is adopted.
correct.
So it isn't like once we cross the Rubicon there of July 1st that it's 87% and you're done. You still get to work on creating an annual budget for the district. So
True.
That's a point.
So you could
I
so
get
you
that.
could vote on it again.
What was that?
I don't know. It sounded like a machine gun. I'm not going to lie. Which I didn't really like.
Oh, it's someone banging on a pot
Okay.
or something.
While sitting with my back to the window.
Yes.
But so the 87%, if we get to the 87% on June 15th,
No,
June-
June. If we don't have a
July
budget
1st.
in place by June 30th,
okay,
on July 1st, the only thing that you're allowed to spend is 87% of this year's budget.
okay. But you can have a new budget by
Whenever.
a month later. You could come up with a new budget, and then you get to use that.
You get to
Right
vote
away.
on it again. Mm-hmm. And if that budget passes, even if it's in August, that's your budget for the year.
Okay.
So the 87% doesn't stay in place for all of the school year. It stays in place until the district votes in a new budget.
So the 87% could possibly kick some people in the ass to say, this is why we need to work harder towards a real good budget.
And I'll say this. There's so much that rides on that July 1st. Tax rates are set. And, one thing that would really be difficult for folks, because people budget for their, they expect taxes at certain times. If you get, a huge hit in one tax bill, because we couldn't pass a budget before the tax rates are set. And I don't even know how that works actually, because the budgets are usually passed before the tax rates are done. I don't know if that means that city council wouldn't be able to set the tax rates. I was 5-4 split. I voted for the budget to go to the ballot. So, and I supported the budget last time, and I will support the budget again. But that being said, it was a little over 5% in net spending. So,
But there also are some intrinsic things in building this budget that have, for lack of a better word, annoyed people. And I hear that constituents have called, people have sent me emails, I read people's comments here, there, and everywhere, and something that really annoys people. There are two things. First of all, what seems to be somewhat blasé attitude by the school board, beginning with saying, well, it's just $30 a month. Who can't afford $30 more a month?
A lot of people.
It's just $300 a year. Who can't afford $300 a year? That's kind of condescending and gratuitous in and of itself, because $300 is a lot of money for people who are working hourly, for people who are renting, because their rent is just not going to go up $300 a year, because their landlord's costs are going to go up because they're in a commercial building. So all of these things, and the price of shoes, the price of cereal, all of these things taken in together, and there seems to be just this tunnel vision. So that annoys people. And the other piece is the way it was put together and promises that were made, and I've heard this from all of the budget's votes so far, that promises were made that staffing from the ESSER funds were going to be eliminated, the COVID money were going to be eliminated. They weren't. That the way things have been put together, there are costs in there that don't necessarily seem to directly benefit students. And people want to have their dollars going to the direct benefit of students. They want to have them have books that don't have their parents' name in them. That has been a huge hue and cry, that parents are saying, that was my book when I was in the 6th grade.
So when we're at the school board meetings, though, why is it that we can't get that out of the members then, as far as a number, when like, say, when Michael goes back and is saying how are you going to get there, or what is a number, or give me what your deductions or your suggestions will be. Why isn't that coming out? And if it did, then maybe we could get to that place.
We've had this discussion.
Yeah.
We've had this discussion with actually members of the faculty bringing that up. We've had parents come to the school board meetings and say, my child is using a book that I used when I
Right.
was...
No, but I mean when you're asking for budget numbers, like the other night when you guys were asking for the numbers and you're trying to all come up with something and you got a 5-4 split, and then you're going back to both sides saying, what do you want to do to reduce it? What is the number then? How are we going to reduce it? And if we know, then why aren't we saying so out loud so that it can get done for the sake of everybody?
It has been said out loud. People have asked why 11 additional staff in the 11 new staff in the new moneyed staff in the general fund. Why is that? And the answer that comes back always is because we're meeting student needs. Okay, define student needs, and so it's been sort of a circuitous route that we've gone through, and that has brought us to now our third budget vote.
So those 11 other.
I'm just gonna.
Yes.
We're gonna move on.
Okay.
From the budget talk.
Why?
Because I don't know.
But I'm really curious, and I know a lot of other people are too. Like, I would really like to have a frank conversation about how we get there. How are we going to get there to a number that everybody can agree on, and how are we going to get to a number that the community can feel good about and not feel like they can't breathe? I mean, that's a very big concern of mine as well. And as somebody who not too long ago did a show with some of the women from the SASH team at Barre Housing, and one of the things that was cut from the budget was foot care for the elderly and the diabetics, and they could still get it. It just wasn't going to be paid for anymore. And that foot care was $25 a month. Only 4 people could afford to do that. The rest of them would have had to give up food or a medication in order to accommodate that care that they really, truly needed. Our kids really, truly need this education. So while $30 a month, when somebody says it's just $30 a month, $30 a month is a lot to somebody, and could mean a medication or food or something else. It can't be put in those terms.
I would never make that comment. That
right?
It's
You
only
wouldn't.
$30
You
a
wouldn't
month,
make that comment
because the difference between I can't afford $1 and I can't afford $30
is the same.
Is the same, and there's actually a biblical context to that. And
exactly.
Highly recommend that folks go out and read it. But the point that I'm trying to make was that we were at an impasse, and I asked folks to make suggestions on lowering the budget. Didn't happen. We went with what the committee recommended, and also there was some additions put back in there, which was supported by the majority of the board. I didn't even have to vote on that. The point is that folks, June 18th, get out there, vote.
And people need to vote on what they feel comfortable with. If they feel comfortable with the budget as it's laid out, fine. And if you don't, that's fine too.
Our education spending in general in the state of Vermont is a product of not the local level, but a product of state involvement and I think federal involvement as well.
Well, there's also some court involvement in that as well. That, Act 60 of all those years ago, that changed the whole method of paying for schools in the state of Vermont. That instead of having individual funds go to the individual local school, it all went into the education fund in the name of equality and equity across the state.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to something a little more happiness, right? while we were talking about the budget on Wednesday night, they had the Spalding High School scholarships, and they actually dished out over about $500,000 worth of scholarships.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And I got a few highlights. Lucas Herring, our former mayor, and who was just on the show a couple weeks ago, before we went on a hiatus, was able to be there to present the Larry Riley scholarship for the Lions Club.
Yeah.
And it was $500 a pop. For one was for Brady Aldrich, and Ariana Little. They got that. There was also, and I don't have all the scholarship numbers, and they did Kuma Aloud stuff. I know that Lydia Murder.
Yeah.
Murner. Oh my goodness.
Murner.
Someone's gonna kill me. Lydia Murner.
Probably Lydia.
Yeah, probably. She got Kuma Le Sadao or something like that. I don't know. And she got a scholarship as well. So super excited about that. And Brody, who is our the student council liaison, Brody Brock, got a scholarship as well. There was also the Amy Hilferty scholarship, which was was created by her grandparents, which most people that have lived in this area would know who that name is. If you don't know who that is, Amy Hilferty was a girl that she
was struck and killed by lightning.
Struck by lightning down where the police station is right now. It was at the time a baseball field or a softball field. It was just a
the
field.
North Berry Field.
Yep. And so, and you can go up to Hope Cemetery and you can see her gravestone. It's absolutely beautiful.
She was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I was in during our graduation, we had Katie Hilferty, who was her sister. And I think it was like the next year, if I recall, when we graduated. And she was in our class. It wasn't the next year. It might've been 2 years. I can't remember, but, yeah. So that scholarship, there was that scholarship, and I don't know who got it. Oh, no, I do. Ariana Little got that scholarship as well. And then there was, of course, a Charlie Sepperman scholarship, and that was Christopher Courant. I might be wrong on that, but I don't know.
The last name, you mean?
Yeah, I might
Yeah.
be wrong on that. I couldn't hear it. You can go online and you can actually watch it by going to the BUSD webpage or BUSD YouTube page. And you can actually watch it and see all the folks get up there and accept the scholarships. It was pretty awesome.
I know that the Christina, who does the scholarship fundraiser for her daughter Brittany Burt, also gave out a scholarship last Wednesday night at Spalding as well. So that was nice too.
There was quite a few, and
$1,500. Yeah.
I only wrote down the ones that came to my mind as I was listening to it. So,
and congratulations and good luck to each one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With
Super
that,
cool.
we can talk about City Council tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's not as fun if I'm not there.
No, it still is, because you have to watch everything that's going on. You have
That's
to,
true.
and you have to hope that, for me and probably for you, for me, I feel like, okay, we've got two people on our team, and you got to hope that they can work, that they can all still somehow work together. And I have full faith in Tom that he will do all he can to make that happen.
You may want to go tomorrow night. Have you seen it? Have you seen the agenda?
I didn't really pay attention. Are they talking about planning commission crap again?
No.
Oh, all right.
They're actually, it's going to be a discussion of addiction prevention strategies
Oh, yeah.
with Sultana Khan.
Yeah. She, I have all kinds of faith in her. And I have to say that I agree with the majority of things that she does. The only thing I probably don't agree on just yet is legalizing it all straight across the board and taking out, because that takes out the profit from these guys. Because if it's legal and people aren't constantly hunting it down, we're not getting it over the borders. We're not if it's legal, it's legal, and it takes out a lot of the problems we deal with now. That has happened in a few countries, and it has worked very well. I don't know that it will work well. Yes, it has actually.
I feel like there was a recent study about Portugal.
Well, for some things, it depends. But it has worked really well as far as death rates go and the sales and the crime and things like that involved. So I agree with her to some of it, but I'm not there yet. I'm just not.
I don't think we're ready to be Amsterdam, Holland yet.
No.
No.
I don't.
Including the bicycles, Raylene.
Agreed. Including the bicycles. Definitely the bicycles.
Yes.
But I just, I understand some of it. I try to listen to it and get where they're coming from. And I do to a certain extent, but I'm not there. And I don't know that I ever will be. As a mom to somebody who has died several times and died once real recent, and had to be brought back, I'm scared to death of anything like that happening. Michael's looking at numbers.
I am.
At Portugal.
Oh, it's got a paywall. Oh, I can't look at it.
Yeah. I can send you all kinds of stuff. I have all kinds of information. I've been looking into it. I read a lot about it. I study it all the time. And I still think that you know what my answer is. My answer is rehab that is longer than a month, 14 days.
I'm gonna have
any
to
of that.
I'm gonna have to do a deep dive into this because some reason I
You really
heard
should. You really should.
that legalization actually doesn't help. But I can understand
It doesn't help it all the way, but it helps it helps as far as crime goes, and it helps as far as the money goes, because you're not stealing it. They're not smuggling it over the border. They're not, so it has reduced a lot of the harm per se, but it hasn't reduced a lot of the harm.
So, I mean, it is the same argument for legalization of prostitution.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not we should legalize the prostitution. And I would contest to you that we shouldn't legalize prostitution.
And I repeat myself, we're not ready to be Amsterdam, Holland.
Right, exactly.
Where
or England or anywhere else.
Is legal.
You're right, exactly. Yeah, it just, I don't know. I'm not there yet. And that's the only reason I don't like to get involved in those conversations, though, is because I speak from a much different place, and I get bitter about people that aren't in that space speaking about it.
Like me.
Yeah, I've gotten pissy at you about it before. I don't like to hear suggestions for people that have not walked in my shoes, or in other parents' shoes, or in an addict's shoes, or somebody in recovery shoes. I don't like to have if you're a family member and you've dealt with that, which you have had some of that in your family, that's why you're so against alcohol and drugs to begin with, and you used to abstain from those votes. I mean, so there are certain issues that you certainly have dealt with, but until it's a whole different world. It's a different world, and you see so many different things that you wished you never did.
We we actually, when we've talked about things, we've definitely agreed on a lot of things.
On the
I mean,
majority.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely, especially when it comes to like the criminalization of it. I think we agree on how we believe it should be punished.
I think it should
Punished.
be. Yeah, exactly.
It should be mandatory rehab, and there is no question.
I want to open
It's-
up the old Windsor prison,
I
take
know.
down the fence, and put them there for a year. It's a beautiful space. It's huge. There's enough beds. There's 200 beds. There's like tons and tons of acreage.
I'll
They
buy
can
it.
garden. I'll buy it as soon
if
as
I
I win
win-
the freaking
I know
lottery
it.
that's happening. I'm telling you,
Powerball's tonight.
it's the first thing I would do is do that, something like this. I've been told that the state already promised Windsor housing, which blows my mind because it's one of the most depressed areas ever, and I don't know what they're going to do with housing because I can't ever imagine like a bunch of people wanting to flock to Windsor. I'm sorry, I just can't. But
College.
yes,
wouldn't
Goddard
be a
College
bad
would be a
idea.
great place too. But
late.
I'm right. To have a space where, when it was a prison, there was they had the sign shops. They made the signs for the state of Vermont. They had the license plate shops. They made the license plates. They burned wood for heat and hot water, and all the wood had to be brought in logs. It had to be cut and split and stacked, and somebody worked around the clock maintaining that furnace. There was gardens to provide your own food. You kept the facility clean. If you didn't have a high school education, you went to
GED classes.
GED classes, community college you could do. To have a space where you could give someone purpose and security for one solid year would mean a world of difference. It'd be huge.
Well, if I win the Powerball, I'll purchase the property.
All
for
right.
you.
And I'll make it happen. I already have so many people that would like step up to the plate and be there to help, that work at these facilities, that work at Valley Vista, Serenity House, counseling associates, all of these people that have been involved for years that know what it should look like, but can't get anybody to do it.
All right.
Yeah.
So
There
we
is
have
hope.
that conversation, and then of course, then we've got the infill study, which is finally completed, and 53% of Barre City, surprise, can't be infilled, and then the other 53% basically is people that own properties. That are we going to subdivide them? I don't know. If you live in Barre City and you have a 1.5 acre lot with your house, do you want to give up your backyard?
Nope.
Well, and that's the way I took the infill study. There was a couple lots that are owned by the Barre City, the municipality. I mean, if we're so like dead set on like putting up housing in Barre City lots, I mean,
But I think there are some lots that could be
really
worked with.
Well, I mean, the lots that were currently being worked on, the one that comes to my mind is North Seminary Street, which was Tom Lozon's idea to begin with, and quite frankly, that project would not have gone through if it weren't for him.
And then to
It
be able
certainly would
to,
have gone
but
through under the
to be
previous
able to
administration.
change some things and develop properties that are already existing, add on to them, the accessory dwelling units. There are things that you can do with those. Would be nice to be able to do with some of those properties. So,
Yeah, that was not very nice of me.
no, it wasn't.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
But even in an urban area, it has to be done judiciously.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, because it's not just the housing piece. If people are crammed in too close together, there's an emotional, there's a psychological, the whole thing, and just has to. It can't be too much and too close.
I agree.
And if they're too small, then you have the storage unit piece where instead of using land that could be used for green space or additional housing, it's suddenly used for the rentable storage space because folks don't have enough room in the house or the unit that they're living in. So all of these things, and I say this from being on the planning commission and having been on planning boards in other areas, that you have to be careful to meet all the needs of human beings and their lifestyles.
So with that, moving on to the next agenda, which would be the appointment of committee members for buildings and facilities. We've got Charlie Atwood, who's an incumbent, and Art Desereau for justice, equity, diversion. I say diversion. Diversity. I don't know why I say diversion. Diversity, inclusion, and belonging committee is Emily Wheeler, Greg Cattell, and William Toborg. Then Cow Pasture Stewardship Committee is Chris Russo Frazier. Mark Martin. I thought he was not reapplying.
I don't know.
I question that because it was my understanding that he wasn't.
Well, maybe he changed his mind.
Maybe he did. That is very possible. That being said, then there's Jim Deschler, which is Danielle Ozarski's partner. And then, of course, Cemeteries Committee is Giuliano Ceccanelli. I'm super glad that he signed up again. Helen Long and Jana Walder. Yeah, so we'll see. I didn't realize that William was up for reappointment. And I hope that.
How do you think these reappointments are going to go? Because in the past, you guys have tried really hard to work toward letting incumbents stay. Where do you think we're going to land there?
I hope that there's no funny games played with the diversity committee.
Michael.
I know. I'm just saying. I hope that there's no funny business that goes on there. Talk about, yeah. Anyway.
Don't hold your hand on your ass the same time you're hoping. That's all I'm telling you.
Anyway, so moving on, we've got some fee increases, mainly to do with the cemetery. That's going to be voted on. And other than that, I think that's pretty much it for city council. I can give some report on some committees. So one of the things that, as we talk about the rebranding of the Barre City Community fan page to something else, is that we're going to try to get more information out there.
Yes.
Specifically, just
Vermont information.
Vermont in general.
802 information.
Yeah, 802 information. So there was a cow pasture committee meeting. They got the permit for a little bridge in the cow pasture. So they're moving forward on that. They need to raise $5,000 to remove some not hazardous trees, invasive trees that are in the cow pasture. So they're looking to raise that money. I did email Chris and tell her that she should look into the separate bond annuity because there's some of that money is put aside for trees in general.
There also is, and I say this from the regional planning perspective, there is a tree grant that is available. The next round of funding for the tree grant will be in January, I believe. So there's time to prepare for that. So maybe you should look that up. It's a tree grant. I can get you the information.
Could you
yeah.
send
Nice.
that to me so that I
Yeah.
can forward it on to Chris?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure she would appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think that's very important because people say, oh, well, we live in the Green Mountains and we have lots of trees. but do we have the right trees in the right places? That's very important. And that's where the municipality comes in to making sure that we have the right trees in the right places.
Yep.
So I'll get you that.
And they're going to be putting in signs, some posts that mark out the trails up in the cow pasture. And for folks that haven't been up there, it's it's just at the top of Maplewood. Go up there and enjoy the forest basically in Barre City. There is some concerns about so the cow pasture trails also go into private property. And I think it's the Perrins. I think it was the Perrins. I might be wrong. But they have a field, and they've noticed people bringing their dogs up and not taking care of their business. So folks, just a reminder, if you bring a dog up into the cow pasture, and just make
Clean
sure
up
you
after.
clean up after your pup.
Yeah, just because you're out there doesn't mean that other people don't use the trail and are out walking and trying to enjoy as well. And just pick up after yourself.
Yeah, and of course, always remember to have tick repellent as you're up there, because it's ticky tick tick. It was Mark Cody, not Mark Martin, that's resigning. So Tim Rapazinski and Mark Cody have resigned from the cow pasture committee. They're definitely looking for volunteers to help in the things that they're doing. I know that Greg Rulo showed up, and he is a part of the Vermont Snowbees, who every year get permission to use the cow pasture for the snowmobiling.
And he does a great job.
Yeah.
He runs a great club. He does a really good job.
Yep. And there was also some folks were building huts up there. Not homeless individuals. It just building huts up there, and although it's great to build a hut if you're a kid, probably shouldn't be doing it in the cow pasture. They don't really want. I think it was actually on the private property that it was being done on, which they prefer that people didn't do that. So that was that committee. Then, of course, there was the homelessness task force, which, again, not related to the hut, the hut situation. They're absolutely never mind. I'll stop.
Is there positions available on that task
There are
force?
lots of positions open for volunteering. I can't remember what was said at the homelessness task force, and because the only thing that I remembered was
Well, they were kind of crapping on the police a lot.
right. That's the one thing that I was remembering, and I was trying to avoid that.
Well, I'll say it. I didn't like that at all.
I know. So people, we need, we definitely need volunteers. BADC, they're going to be getting their Northern Borders application, or not application, but hopefully they're going to get that grant, which they lost out on last year for unfortunate reasons.
We have a new mayor.
Huh?
Nothing.
Did I hear someone say it's because
And
you have a
so-
new mayor?
Well, I'm sure Tom will be able to push that through. That's for sure. Did I mention I signed those documents? I was so excited to be able to sign those documents.
Yes, you did.
But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Prospect Heights, 2025, baby.
That's right.
Let's get that going.
That's
I
right.
think that's what they said. It was hoping for possible groundbreaking in 2025, which would be amazing. Just absolutely amazing. All right. We are like really over, but we had a lot that we've
Well, we haven't been
been
here in a
on
long time.
Yeah, we're going to try to be on more often. We do apologize. We are going to try to focus on, some more, try to get information out there on the. We're working on it. It's a work in progress.
Well, and I think we should tell people that if they would like us to look into a subject, to reach out and tell us.
Absolutely.
Whether it be in the state, city, town, Montpelier, Berlin, whatever. If you want to talk about something, to let us know. We can look into it, prepare. If you have people that you would like to see on as guests from other cities or towns, maybe they can give us suggestions from. Maybe we can learn a little bit about somebody else's school budget that might have passed or didn't pass, and how they got there and where they got it, and all of that good stuff. You never know. Maybe we can learn a little bit from other people.
Maybe.
Imagine.
And in anticipation of our new superintendent, we might want to think about having Joanne Canning come and join us.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you for mentioning her.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So that's right. We
Light
did
at
vote.
the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
So we did vote to what was the motion? We authorized Terry and Sonia to work out a contract with a superintendent search, and of course that it was Joanne.
Canning.
I don't know what the status is of that contract, but hopefully we will be able to sign on the dotted line. I am super excited
Nice.
about Joanne. She is like totally a seasoned superintendent, and I am looking forward to be working with her.
Nice. Awesome.
We all
It's-
are.
Awesome news. Awesome news.
It is. I'll say this, BUSD, if we can,
Put the contract. Yep,
get the
together
contract in
and-
order, and we're actually able to get her, we got a really good candidate.
Yes, we
super
Good.
excited.
Good.
And we had a number of very good candidates.
Yes.
Ms. Canning was the best.
Yeah.
And so we went for the best. And we had a choice, and we made it. And I think it's a good choice. She'll be good for the district. She really is. These are the pros from Dover, and she's going to come in. And what her mantra is, she's going to set the table for us to get everything at a level playing field, at a good place in academics, business, communications, transparency, all those things. She can balance and juggle all those clubs in the air at the same time, and she's a pro at it, and that's what we need.
Yep.
I can't say enough about it.
I'm super stoked.
Awesome. Good news.
All right. Well, with that,
On a
folks,
happy note.
On a happy note, we leave on that. If you're out and about, enjoy the weather while it's here.
I'm going
still-
when I'm out and about, I'm going to check out Alice's stew.
Oh,
Yes.
you know what I was doing this weekend?
Four-wheeling.
I was with Chris Massey.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
had a lot of fun.
Enjoy every minute of it.
Yep, I've enjoyed my time.
Good. Good.
All right, with that, we want to say thank you for watching the Barre Beat podcast live from Main Street, Barre, Vermont, of course. Thank you, Raylene and Alice, and we
Thanks
hope
for
that
everybody that tuned in.
Yeah.
we hope that everybody has a lovely evening, and
And a grand week.
yes, and we'll see you next week. Ta ta.